Another girl. Unbelievable. That's what my mill said right after we found out the gender of the fourth child. She's carrying another girl, so you should divorce her quickly, she insisted. Mom is always right, so you have no choice but to listen, right? My husband, with a smile, asked for a divorce. Of course, I'll leave with our 3 daughters. I accepted the divorce in anger. But the moment the 4th child was born, I couldn't help but smirk. My name is Alina. I'm a full-time homemaker with 3 young daughters. I was thinking about getting a part-time job once the 3rd daughter turned 3, but unexpectedly, I got pregnant with the 4th child. There was no choice but to give birth. But my husband can't do anything around the house or help with child care. He's completely useless. He hasn't even changed a diaper, so it's clear that it's going to be tough. I'm thinking of teaching properly once the 4th child is born, but it's not an easy task. After all, there's a huge obstacle standing between us. The obstacle is my mother-in-law, my mill. She believes in male supremacy, thinking that wives should always walk 3 steps behind their husbands, and as long as husbands have jobs, wives should support them completely. So, when I ask my husband for help with housework and child care, she angrily scolds me. And she even believes that a woman is only worth something if she gives birth to a son. It's like we're stuck in the old days. With such a mill, my children are now 6, 4, and 2 years old. Of course, there are always snide remarks. When the first one was revealed to be a girl, she said, "Oh, a girl. Well, it can't be helped. Make sure the next one is a boy." And when the second one turned out to be a girl too, she exclaimed, "Another girl. What on earth are you doing? Put more effort into it. Can gender change through effort? I can't believe you keep having girls. Next time, it better be a boy," she even said. It's not like I need her forgiveness. What I can't forgive is my husband. When we found out the 3rd one was also a girl, my mill said to me in front of my husband, "Are you the one who's strange?" And my husband didn't say anything in response. 3 girls are more than enough. Why don't you give one up for adoption? Or better yet, just don't have any more, she even suggested, and that's when I got really angry. Of course, I did. My husband has been grinning the whole time, saying, "Haha, maybe that's not so bad." What? When we got home, I unleashed my anger on him. "Hey, how can you laugh after hearing something like that? What things?" She called me strange and suggested giving one up for adoption or not having more. It's not a big deal. Mom is right. I think she has a very valid point, my husband said. My mill is all about putting her son first, and my husband is all about putting his mother first. What an absurd pair. How can a father remain calm after being told that his own daughters are worthless? Your mother completely ignored the fact that she has 3 granddaughters. Is that so? Yes. When our daughter said, "Let's play, Grandma," your mother brushed her off and told her to be quiet and read a book. Well, isn't that fine? What's right about it? Even when our daughter said she wanted to read a book, she was ignored. Ignored no matter what they said. Complete disregard. In the end, the girls stopped talking to her altogether. Well, isn't that right thing to do? It's not right. I can't stop feeling frustrated. Anyway, my husband is more of a son to my mill than a father to our daughters. A useless husband who does nothing. A mill who only knows how to be sarcastic. A husband who is not a fatherly figure. A mill with no interest in her granddaughters. What is a family, anyway? Nevertheless, the 4th child in my belly is growing steadily. My pregnancy has entered a stable period, and my belly has grown quite a bit. I can even feel the baby's movements now. Seeing my big belly, my children must be thinking about various things. Especially my eldest daughter, who will start elementary school next year, has become quite mature. "Mom, take it easy. I'll fold the laundry." My second daughter also says, "I've got everything ready for tomorrow," and does things on her own. And unexpectedly my 3rd daughter says, "I'm going to be a big sister, right? I can use the toilet," and goes to the toilet by herself. Well, she's still struggling a bit, but her determination alone is enough for me as a mother. I was busy with their touching gestures when my husband came home. So, I reported the results from the hospital. "Actually, we found out the gender. The baby is doing well," I said. "Oh, really? We found out the gender. It's a boy, isn't it?" "No, it's a girl." "Are you kidding me?" They couldn't see any signs indicating a boy. Tisk. Wait a minute, did he just click his tongue? No, he definitely did, didn't he? He clicked his tongue, didn't he? I had a bad feeling about this. His reaction was just as I had imagined, from when the hospital told us it was a girl because they couldn't see the signs of a boy. But his reaction was just as expected. I'm not sad, I'm just angry. What's with that reaction? Aren't you happy that the baby is healthy? I think my anger is justified, but my husband showed an unexpected attitude. There's no reason to be happy. What should I tell Mom about this? My life is in a complete mess because I have an incompetent wife. What? What do you mean by that? I mean exactly what I said. Mom always says, a woman is only worth something if she gives birth to a son. In reality, Mom, who gave birth to me, is the winner. What are you talking about? What do you mean? She had me, an amazing son. Excuse me, I have 3 wonderful daughters, you know. Girls get married into the other person's family, right? Who's going to take care of us when we get old? I'm utterly exasperated. Does this person want a son just to take care of them in his old age? What era are we living in? But we aren't even taking care of your mother now, are we? Well, at least in the future, it's only natural that we'll take care of her. I want to ask what's so natural about it. I'm astonished by how easily my husband talks about taking care of her. Who's going to take care of her? Well, it's you, of course. There's no way this is happening. What are you talking about? I'm going to take care of her. Then we don't need a son. No, what are you talking about? I'm saying it's the son's wife who's supposed to take care of her. So, our daughters won't be taking care of us in our old age, right? Why not? Well, that's just how it is. You're not very bright, are you? I guess this is what they mean by not being able to get through to someone. Am I the one who's not very bright? No, isn't it him? I wonder if he's confused about what era we're in. These days, it's the era where you take care of your own parents. Daughters or sons, neither should be burdening their partners with taking care of their parents. But it seems like my husband is stuck in the Stone Age or something. Did he come here from ancient times in a time machine or what? I was annoyed, so I made rice porridge for dinner. And then, the next day, a situation that left me dumbfounded and folded. It was a holiday, but my Mel came to visit early in the morning. I was already tired from taking care of my 3 daughters, and I was pregnant and extremely sleepy. I thought it was just some small annoyance, but it turned out to be serious harassment. Get a divorce. What? I heard it's another girl. Unbelievable. What? So, get a divorce. What? All I could say was, what? I was in a state of complete confusion, and my Mill was there standing there with her arms crossed and a cold stare. Then my daughters arrived. Grandma, guess what? I'm going to have a little sister, said my 3rd daughter. To which my Mill responded, you were already a disappointing child, but it looks like an even more disappointing child is on the way. And she made my 3rd daughter cry. Then my 2nd daughter spoke up. Grandma, that's mean. My little sister is going to be very cute. She's not disappointing. To which my Mill responded, I had a bad feeling about you from the moment you were born. You're disappointing too. And she made my 2nd daughter cry as well. Finally, my eldest daughter stepped forward. Grandma's the worst. I hate you. My Mill lashed back with some hurtful words. Well, I am the worst. I can't believe that all my grandchildren are girls. Don't worry, I hate myself too, and managed to make all 3 of my granddaughters cry. What is she even saying? Come on, isn't that a bit too much for the girls? Please apologize. I haven't said anything wrong. I'm just saying I don't need a daughter-in-law who produces only girls. With an angry face, she shouted, and in return, I shot her a furious scowl. Damn it, I won't lose. I fought, but my husband put his hand on my shoulder. Hey, can't you say something? I can't help it. That's what my mother is saying. I have no choice but to listen, right? What? I tilted my head in confusion, and my husband said to me, you heard what she said. What? She's saying that because you only produce daughters, so we should hurry up and get a divorce. That's a sin's duty. What? Wait, what are you saying? Well, that's how it is. I'm demanding a divorce now. Is divorce something you can just say with a smile like that? Is it something you can decide so easily? My anger surged. My husband chose my Mill over me and our daughters, and he did it in 3 minutes. The moment I realized that, my decision was quick too. My feelings cooled in an instant. If he can decide in 3 minutes, I can decide in 3 seconds. And I replied with, I understand. I understand. In that case, I'll leave with my daughters. Make sure to pay child support. To my words, my husband nodded with a smile, and my mill also smiled with satisfaction. These people were never really my family from the beginning. That's why things could never work out. While thinking about that, I quickly contacted my parents and made preparations. From then on, things were hectic, but my father took action on my behalf since I was pregnant, and everything went smoothly. We asked a lawyer who was a friend of my father to handle the alimony and child support negotiations. Since my parents lived in a different state, I was worried about changing hospitals, but fortunately, we found a good one. And after the divorce was finalized, I gave birth to my fourth child. It was an amazing result. Raising 4 children was truly challenging. It would have been impossible without my parents' help. If I hadn't divorced, I shudder to think how I would have managed to raise 4 children all on my own. Certainly, my husband and Mill wouldn't have helped. In that sense, I think the divorce was really the best choice. The youngest child will grow up without knowing his father, and I feel sorry about that. But my husband never took care of the children to begin with. The 4th child would have been the same. Are you lonely without daddy? I asked my eldest daughter, and she replied, it's no different from when he was living with us, so I don't really care. My daughters didn't seem to miss their father at all, so life with them and my parents was peaceful. But after a while, after giving birth, I was trembling when I saw the bank book, because the child support from my husband hadn't been deposited. Even though we were living with my parents, without child support, things would become quite difficult. This was a major issue. I didn't want to, but I had no choice but to contact my ex-husband. Since I hate phone calls, I opted for an email. No reply. So, I tried a text message. Read and ignored. Hey, are you kidding me? Even after the divorce, you're still the father of our children, you know. I fought. I don't want to call him, but thankfully, I didn't have to. That's because he had come over. Yes, my ex-husband came to my parents' house, and he brought his mother with him. Well, long time no see. When I got home, there were 2 familiar faces in front of the gate, and my face twisted in discomfort. They were definitely my ex-husband and former Mill. Elena, what on earth is going on? What? Even after not seeing her for a long time, my former Mill hadn't changed a bit. She skipped the greetings and immediately started yelling. I had no idea what she was talking about, so I tilted my head in confusion. Then, she suddenly leaned in close to me. Too close. I fought. Stay away, you scaring me. My son was told at work that it's outrageous that he's not paying child support. No. I thought that even though I have the notarized documents, it would be too much work to go through the procedures to enforce the payments. So, for the time being, I tried contacting my ex-husband's workplace. But I guess they spoke directly to my ex-husband. Well, that makes sense. They said we can't entrust work to a man who won't even pay child support properly. They're even talking about demoting him. That sounds tough. Well, I didn't really care about it. It seemed like my indifference showed on my face, and my former Mill glared at me fiercely. But then, she seemed to finally notice, and turned her surprised gaze toward the one I was holding. Yes, I was holding my 4th child. Despite my former Mill's loud voice, the baby slept peacefully. Is this the 4th child? Yes, today was the baby's checkup. She doesn't look like you at all. Thanks. Well, whatever. Really? It's your first time meeting your grandchild after birth. Don't you care at all? My former Mill was the same as ever. Anyway, please explain to my son's company that you are receiving child support properly. Well, I haven't received anything yet. My life is a bit tough right now. I'll pay when I have the means. Tough. What are you using the money for? My ex-husband's salary wasn't that low. With his salary, even after paying child support, there should have been enough left over for a reasonably comfortable life, along with the pension from my ex-father-in-law's inheritance. So, why was it so difficult? My former Mill, clearly irritated, spat out her words. We can't even go on vacations. I eat out with my friends every day, but I won't be able to do that anymore. My son also needs money for his matchmaking services to find a new wife. I see. It's not just I see. If you understand, don't you dare complain about child support being delayed. Well, I will complain. What do you mean by living a tough life? Don't joke around. With a sigh, I turned my attention to the baby. You don't like it, huh? Your grandmother and father are so greedy. I hope you don't turn out to be like them. As if to drive the point home, I added another comment. Huh. You're saying you won't become a man like your father. That's right, you won't. You're going to be a handsome man. You can call me a doting parent if you want to. But my ex-mother-in-law and ex-husband seemed to be more concerned about something else and said with surprised expressions, huh? Wait a minute, Alina. Finally, my ex-husband spoke up. Didn't you just say a man? Yes, I did. And did I hear the word handsome? Yes, I certainly did. So, what does that mean? I mean, the baby you're holding. Yeah. Is he my son? Yay. What? As my ex-husband asked in a trembling voice, I nodded. At that moment, the screams of my ex-husband and former mill echoed throughout the neighborhood. My former mill was in a panic. Wait a minute, Alina. Are you saying that child is a boy? Yes, that's right. What does this mean? It means he's a boy. Wait. What am I waiting for? You said it before, didn't you, Alina? You said before the divorce that the fourth child would also be a girl. I said, the doctor couldn't see any signs of the baby being a boy, so it might be a girl, and that's what I meant. I didn't say it was 100% confirmed. However, it's rare, but I heard sometimes the telltale signs can't be seen due to it being between the legs. What? What's with her voice? I didn't plan to play them like this. I had a feeling they would react like this when they found out the truth. So, I deliberately didn't say anything. Why did you keep it a secret? Because no one asked. In normal circumstances you'd say something, right? Normally, when a baby is born, people ask about the gender, don't they? That's right. While I kept the gender a secret, I did tell them about the birth. I thought they would definitely assume it was a girl. Maybe they weren't interested. Either way, the two of them really didn't ask anything. They didn't even ask for names, nor did they express a desire for pictures. I don't owe them an explanation. It's rude to the baby. Just because, you know. Still seething with anger, my ex-mill was about to say something. It's Grandma and Dad, shouted my second daughter. Looking over, all three daughters were together. They got off from school early today, so I had asked my mother to pick them up. Quite the coincidence. Oh my, you all look well, my former mill said, her voice oddly cloying. She never spoke to her grandchildren that way before the divorce, rubbing her hands together like some greedy merchant. It's been a while, said my mom. Yes, indeed, replied my former mill. It must be hard taking care of all three grandchildren, isn't it? My former mill suddenly said after some pleasantries. Not at all, I'm enjoying my golden years surrounded by my grandchildren, responded my mother. How wonderful. I live a relaxed life without having to care for grandchildren, my former mill said with a smirk. Well, isn't that nice? I'm envious. It keeps me busy, but we all help each other out and there's never a dull moment, my mother said. I'm envious too. I enjoy every day of my life, she added with a chuckle. Is that so? Ha-ha-ga. La-ha-ha-ga. What's this about? It's like some sort of bragging competition between the two mothers. From a distance, I saw my former mill stop laughing, face my mom and offer. It seems you have your hands full with the three of them. Would you like me to take care of one of them? This must mean she doesn't want the three granddaughters, but leaving only the grandson. I think I'm more experienced in taking care of boys. So, I'll take care of the grandson. I knew it. Classic move, just as I expected, favoring boys over girls. But my mom laughed it off. This is no joke. That's a joke, right? After you said you didn't need my daughter or the granddaughters, you think you can care for a child. That's not true. It's because he's a boy, right? Who would accept such a ridiculous proposal? Weren't you the ones who proposed the divorce and said you didn't want any grandchildren? It's your daughter's fault for only giving birth to girls. If we'd known a boy was coming, we wouldn't have gone through with the divorce. What kind of logic is that? My anger bubbled up at the unchanging former mill. It was when I tried to speak my mind. Enough. My mom lost her temper before I did. People who discriminate based on gender can't possibly be good caregivers, and blaming the child's gender on the mother. What kind of thinking is that? But, it's because of your daughter. It's the father's side that determines the child's gender. A female's egg only carries an X chromosome, while a male's sperm can carry either X or Y. The sex of the baby is determined by which sperm fertilizes the egg. This means it's not the egg but the male sperm that determines the gender. So, if you have consecutive daughters, it's because of your son's sperm. Well, what? My mom's words were met with loud shouts from both my former mill and ex-husband. Wait, they didn't know this basic fact, blaming me without doing their research. Unbelievable. The two of them looked stunned. But we're sorry for misunderstanding, but we still want a grandson to take care of you when you're old, right? You expect us to give you the child for that. That's a son's duty. Is your son taking care of you now? The sharp retort from my mom left my former mill speechless. My ex-husband, a man who's never done anything or been good at anything. He had moved back in with his mother after our divorce, suggesting he hasn't changed a bit. Can you even handle raising a child now? I asked my ex-husband. What? Well, I have my job, you know. My mom, she's free, she can take care of them. Really? Pushing it all onto an elderly lady. This is supposed to be your child for your future, so you should take care of him. Well, that's not what we agreed on. Mom always says, as long as a man works, that's enough. That's not the point. Help me out. I don't know about that. The pointless argument between mother and child ensued. Oh boy, this won't end well. Suddenly, a figure stepped forward. It was my eldest daughter. Quickly stepping forward, she declared, "Dad, Grandma, if you can't help at all, just leave." My former mill was taken aback. But enough. 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 Do you even know what people call women like you, Grandma? They say old hag. Well, that's karma. It's a mess. I won't correct her though, it's too amusing. The two of them were shocked, being yelled at by my eldest daughter. I'll protect my siblings and mom. I'll take care of them. If you can't do anything, just stay out of it. And the final blow. I hate both of you. Don't ever come back here. Ding. The harsh word hate, which had never bothered them before, seemed to have done significant damage this time. My second daughter, glaring at the two of them, held the eldest daughter's hand. The third daughter, trying her best to glare too, held the second daughter's hand. Whoa. Then, the youngest son began to cry, seemingly blaming my ex-husband and former mill. That was the last straw. The two of them, defeated, left without another word. Later on, perhaps realizing the repercussions of his job, or having some sort of epiphany, the ex-husband resumed paying child support. He's mentioned wanting to see the kids. For now, I've declined. He'd better show some genuine effort. Speaking of my former mill, she stopped showing up at our place unannounced. However, that doesn't mean she calmed down. She continued her reckless spending, perhaps as a way to relieve stress. As a result, she squandered the inheritance from her late husband, and with just her pension and allowance from her son, life became tough. My former mill, unable to live freely as before, aged rapidly and ended up in a facility due to dementia. Meanwhile, my parents of the same age are busy but lively, surrounded by their grandchildren. It's a shame her son couldn't look after her. As for me, with the help of my parents, I'm managing to raise my 4 kids. It's challenging, but my days are filled with more joy and happiness. Hey Mom, haven't you become prettier lately? My eldest daughter is all grown up. Mom, tie my hair. Looks like my second daughter is into dressing fashionably. Mom, listen. I guess my third daughter is enjoying chatting now. My son. I'm looking forward to seeing him become a handsome young man. Every day, I'm surrounded by the lively voices and smiles of my children, living a happy life.